Hey there, card readers and faithful few of my channel. April here on Tarot and Witchery, and this is sort of my end of the year wrap up for you. I want to share with you some cool stories from the last month, some insights, and my favorites, kind of some of my favorites for the month. But I want to talk to you a bit about my channel trajectory for the coming year, and I want to ask you some questions as well. So I really hope that you will take the time to answer down below. This last month, and I guess last month and a half, have been very powerful for me. I'm not going to lie, it's a hard month and a half. A lot of very, a lot of painful energies, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of feeling like some upheaval down here in those lower chakras, like a real shaking. And the kind of shaking where I didn't feel like my mind had anything that it could add. Like, these are the kind of rumblings that are so deep and so personal. I'm still getting over being sick, by the way. So deep and so personal that they're feelings. They're feelings, not words. They're pictures so big and yet dark that they don't have definition. It's just like looking at so much energy coming in. And I know that we've had Neptune retrograde, and like in just a few days it's going to be direct, and I'm really grateful. Normally I like Neptune retrograde, but it has been very foggy. For me, I have felt like I'm out on the moors in deep mist, and it's just one step at a time, one step at a time. Like, there's no way to see really what is in front of me or ahead of me. So how many of you related to that? Did anybody else sort of have this? And normally at the end of the year, I really do an inventory, and I feel like I'm moving into, thinking about what I want to do, what worked, what didn't work. But there's something within me that's like, hey, I really want to be doing things that are very authentic and meaningful. And is that what I'm doing? And that question itself sort of says, no, it's not what I'm doing. There needs to be some tweaks. So for me, it was a poignant month in November. I went away for my cousin's funeral. I had my cousin die at age 53. Suddenly. It was the first of us to pass away, and it was a very big deal. So I had that death card. Now, he had passed away in September, actually, but my family was visiting during the time, and so I was shocked and kind of overwhelmed, but I didn't have a chance to process it. So when I went away for the funeral, like, it all came flooding in. It all just came to the forefront. And of course, nothing like the death of someone who is a contemporary of yours, somebody who's your own age, to really make you think, what the fuck am I doing? So, there was that. At the same time, I got to see a lot of my family. So there was that 10 of Pentacles sort of feeling there, where I'm like, okay, this is valuable. These people have been with me forever. And yet, what is that value? Like, I don't have a super ton of connection with everyone there, but there were some key cousins there that I thought I want to cultivate these relationships. And so that got me thinking about relationship, thinking about how important relationship is, and specifically connection to people. I'm in a super philosophical place, you guys. So if you just wanted to see a bunch of tarot decks, you might be kind of disappointed. I am going to show you my tarot decks later on in the video. So maybe some of you are skipping forward. Bing, ting, ting, ting. I do that too. No shame, no guilt. Anyway, so this really just had me really thinking about what's important. And I'm getting ready to film for my other channel a video on my planning for the next year and how I work through creating a word for the year and what that word is and kind of my thoughts on that. So you might want to check that out. That's kind of a segue into me saying, I love this channel. I love doing the tarot channel. But at the end of this year, I guess mid-year, I started trying out some more vlog style things, some more things where they were more artsy, and they were more my opinions and my thoughts on magic. And I feel like that I've come to the conclusion that I want to keep this channel for sort of tarot and the witchery around tarot specifically. And then I wanted to have another channel where I could chat with you, where I could have discussions about what's going on in our life. I could share my daily life here on the farm, my magical practice, more my witch crafting, my green witch herbalism, you know, my personal discoveries, my thought processes, my poetry, stuff like that. So I created the channel Natural Witchcraft, and I did witch, it's one word, witchcraft, but I did the C big because I feel like I probably should do that like that. I did the C big because I feel like I wanted to communicate that craft is really important. I think sometimes we just go witchcraft, and I didn't want to do them separate, witchcraft. So anyway, there's a link to my new channel over there, and you will see some of those in my feed when I post a video. I will put it in my community tab, so it should come up in your feed if you're subscribed. If you're interested in more of my magical practice and my daily life and just my musings and life out here on the farm and some of the slow living that I sort of enjoy, because I feel like it's never slow living on a farm, people. It seems like you're always behind the 8 ball when it comes to working with nature, but I choose not to look at it like that anymore because it's just the flow of things. But more the living through the wheel of the year and taking that journey with me, then that's the channel for you. And I'm excited about that. That is where I'm putting my menopause magic videos. So if you haven't seen the menopause magic, the first installment of that, it's linked down below in the description box. You can see it there. I wanted to kind of take that over there. And so these videos right here in the future, they are going to be much more just kind of tarot, like my favorites in like my tarot spreads that I did for the month. And just I'm going to talk more about the way I worked with the tarot and the decks that I used, and if I have any other sort of like favorite things. My personal life, like my personal vlog, it's going to be over there. That's where I'm going to talk about my own churnings of self. I want to know what you want for this channel. Please tell me, what do you want for this channel? I like doing the before you buys. I like doing deep dives into the decks. I am definitely going to be doing more of that, more introducing all of the decks, doing walkthroughs on them. So when I do a deep dive, you can look at the walkthrough if you want to. Do you want to learn more about reading tarot? Do you want to learn more about actually like reading how the cards interact? Do you want to have more spreads? What kind of spreads? Big spreads, small spreads? I don't get a lot of views on my spread videos, so I'm wondering, should I just stop wasting my time? Is anybody interested in that at all? Like maybe you're just like, nah, I'm not interested in that. Do you want me to talk more about the meanings of the cards? Do you want me to talk more about working with oracles? That's something that I'm kind of interested in, is in working with oracles and talking about how I use them and how I integrate them with tarot, or how I use them as standalone. Please let me know what you would like to learn, because I'm a teacher and I really love that aspect of it. So please let me know down below what you want. I have so enjoyed this year on this channel, and I want to thank all of you who have taken the ride with me, all my new subscribers and my old ones who've been here from the very beginning. I feel like some of you I really know, and I love the friendships that I've created outside of outside of just here and chatting. Like some of you I actually have real live conversations with. If you want to write to me, my address is down there. I love the letters that I get from you, and I actually write back, but I'm not really an email writer. So just to let you know, it just doesn't get me. You write me a letter and send it through the mail, I'm totally into it, but I don't email that much. But I want to thank all of you for being here, and It's an incredible journey to be on the web and to be doing this and to put yourself out there, and all of the mental machinations that go on with nowadays living in a media culture, how we tie our self-worth to views and likes and things like that. And for me, overcoming that and seeing what is important and what is real and what is meaningful. And so all of you in our interactions are a part of that. So I want to thank all of you for being here. I really do enjoy what we share here. It's very precious to me. All right, I definitely want to share this story with you. Okay, so this month I felt like there was a lot of ick in my house. And so I did something about it. I cleansed my house energetically, and I made some new wards, and I will actually have a video up on this more in detail on my other channel about the wards that I made and all that. So the night after I did that, or the night, because I spent all day doing this, and then that night I kind of fell ill again. I was like, this thing that I'm getting over right now, I fell ill again, and I thought, what the heck? And I felt like it was really about expelling all the miasma from the house. And I had let somebody into my home who I identified brought some icky juju in. They really did. So I went to sleep that night, and I was startled awake at 5:45 by my cat howling outside my door. And you know, when your cat brings in, if you have cats, you know this, when they bring something in, they make that like that really bizarre meow. And I'm used to that. Like I can tune that out. Like it's a really, that's like okay, that's a mouse. Somebody brought a mouse in, but this was something else. Like it startled me. It was just loud and repetitive. And so I got up, put on my robe, and went out there. And my cat, who is an absolute killer, who never, ever brings anything in. Never brings anything in. He just eats it. He's just massive. He basically lives outside most of the time. He's like our burly farm cat. He had brought a dove in to my house, and I was just, oh, it was so horrible. It was the worst moment for a minute. I was just like, I have this sacred connection. I have 2 sets of doves that live on the land, and I'm very much connected to them. And here was one of them, and I thought, oh my God, and he dropped it. And I reached down and I found that it was alive. And I thought, oh my gosh. Now I have chickens, but I used to breed chickens and send them. I was a kind of a fancy chicken breeder. I sent fancy Orpingtons all over the country. They're like super pets, right? And so I know quite a bit about birds, and they can be very frail. If you've ever worked with birds, you know that like it's kind of hit or miss whether they're going to live. So I took it in and I put it aside. I examined it. I could not find any puncture holes on it or anything. I got it to drink. I kind of put it in a dark room and turned the heat on low so it wouldn't go into shock. Came in later, and I thought, okay, maybe it's ready to go. And I took it outside, and the dove flew away. Now, why do I share this? I share this because, first of all, just that it lived was so important to me. I was like, thank goodness it lived. But I felt like this was a beautiful sign from the universe that I had done this work, and one of my power animals is the cat. I'm very connected to cats. I have 4 of them. I'll probably be a crazy cat lady someday. And I feel like this cat that to me represents like the strength of this land. He's really connected to this land. Brought me peace, brought peace into my home. Showed me that peace is here and it's mine. And I got a chance to take that peace and release it. And, you know, just to let you know, after examining him, the dove looked fine. I think he grabbed it by the tail. And so some of the tail feathers came out, which I kept for my journal. But it was a beautiful moment. And it was part of a really sacred release that felt sort of, and it's interesting because I don't necessarily think of 2 of Cups as a sacred release. So maybe it's the 2 of Cups sort of meshed with the Eight of Cups, that Eight of Cups walking away. There was a sense of releasing myself into this next chapter of my life and into this next segment of empowerment and sovereignty, coupled with that Two of Cups of feeling seen by the universe, the YO universe, and feeling understood and just, arms linked, drinking from that cup together. That's the one I think of the most, which is the Druid Craft Tarot. I love that Two of Cups. Anyway, I share that, and then now I will share with you the decks that I worked with for the month. But like I said, in the future, these are going to be much less about my personal life and personal stories. Those are going to be over on my other channel, and I hope some of you will join me. Those of you who feel that that's something that you want to be a part of. And again, my menopause magic is over there, which is going to be a long discussion series. So as I start that channel over there, I hope that you will do me the honor of telling me what you like and don't like. And, I need to edit less, you guys. I do a lot. I'm a perfectionist, and I spend a lot of time making these videos and, just putting special effects and stuff in there. And in this next year, I want to get away from that because I have plans to do other things with my time, which I will share with you on the other channel when I talk about my end of the year recap and planning. But for now, let's talk about the decks that I worked with this month. It is a super dark day, my perfect favorite kind of day in Oregon, but the light in here is not great. So, being in a very vulnerable place last month with my cousin dying, and it was weird. It was followed up by having Thanksgiving with my whole family. I went for an old standard, an old favorite, something that doesn't require much from me, like I can read with it really, really easily, which is the Super Lunaris. Probably just one of my favorite decks. This is pretty close to a perfect deck. There's just a couple cards in here that I think, why? No. But for the most part, I love this deck. And of course, down below, I will have links to it. You guys should let me know, do you want me to do a deep dive on this deck and why I love it so much? If I ever show you a deck that you want to see more of, please just let me know. But I needed something that just didn't take a lot of work. I needed straightforward messages. And so I think sometimes that's why you reach for that deck that you're not trying to, I don't have anything to prove. I'm not trying to challenge myself during these times. I did a couple readings with the Deep Place Oracle. And I know that a lot of you have asked me to do a deep dive on this, and I intend to. I'm actually going to do a before you buy about this deck and another one that I will share with you. I'm going to pit them against each other, but this deck, it's very soulful. It's a Kickstarter. It's an older deck, but it's still available. And it really stirs me. It's very nature-based. I guess, it's like Daniel Noel, but like earthy and a little bit more edgy, and I don't know. Daniel Noel is like all pink and turquoise, and this is not. This is so right for me, the Deep Place Oracle. I truly use this oracle, and I needed to get some answers for myself about direction and what was really going on inside of myself, and this deck really does that for me. And then I used as well the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. There's the last draw card I drew, and I was talking about this on one of my videos. Oh yeah, that's right, the 2022 oracles. And I don't know if you do this, but this is a great thing to do. I always put the card or cards that I drew that day on the top, and then like the book in, so that the next time I pull the deck out, I know the last card I drew. It's just kind of a fun thing. So I'm sure all of you are super familiar with this oracle. For me, I just got it, and so I had a lot of fun getting to know it. I feel like this oracle is just dead on for me, and it's perfect for this time of the year. It really highlights moving into that shadowy place. If you haven't done my Persephone spread yet, I would recommend that you try it out. I will link it down below. I feel like that spread really helps you to understand what you're moving into as far as working on shadows, specifically this time of the year and moving up to solstice and even beyond, even in the winter time. I think it's a great spread to do. So this deck for me, sorry, still getting over this. This deck for me is something that really makes me look into the shadow, and I needed to do that. You know, it actually works really well with the Deep Place Oracle. It just helped me to do that. And then I was sent this deck, so I spent a good portion of time with this deck, the Enchanted Art Oracle. There's a walkthrough of this deck and a before you buy on my channel about this deck. Mimi Pettibone sent it to me. She also has an amazing podcast, you guys. So that is in the videos on this. I put the link in the description box. You should check out her podcast because it's not like, she's got some cool people on there. Like she has Judith Orloff on there, right? And some of you may be saying, well, who the heck is Judith Orloff? If you're an empath and want to know how to work with some of those empathic tendencies, you may want to look up Judith Orloff, who made this oracle, the Power of Surrender cards, which of course I use this month. I won't pull it out because you must be tired of seeing it, but I recommend everybody have this oracle. Purchase responsibly, know your limits, as Gerald would say. But I use this all the time. This is a staple in my life, and I think just will be forever. Okay, so I also used, again, so I hope you're not bored of seeing this, I also used the Brady Tarot. There's something so earthy about this, and when you are deep in the shadow realm, or at least for me, when I'm deep in the shadow realm, I need to have something that just grounds me, that reminds me that I'm still in my body, that my shadow is a part of my body, that I haven't somehow gone off the map into some place that's outside of myself. Our shadow is not outside of ourselves. And so this deck is just very grounding for me. Very, very grounding for me. And it really, really, really helped me through this time. And I absolutely adore this deck. I've just got to tell you, it is, I'm so glad I purchased it. I'm so, so glad. I will do a deep dive on this one. If anybody wants it, let me know down below. Actually, I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I have planned a deep dive with this, and this is kind of what I bought them for. And so I think these are the two that I will be contrasting in a video, so that you can look forward to that in the new year. And then I got two new oracles, one of which you may remember if you watched that unboxing. I set my box on fire when I threw it over onto the candle and wasn't watching because I was so excited to finally get my copy of this. I have begun working with this intensely. I have a general walkthrough of this that should be up on my channel in January maybe, and then I will have a before you buy on it. It's watercolor. These are watercolor paintings, and they have sort of a stained glass sort of feel to them, and I really enjoyed working with this deck. This is, sorry you guys, this is the Shadows of Light Oracle by Haley Claire. And this is a new one. It's a Kickstarter, but it is available, and I will have a link down below. But you may want to wait until I do my before you buy on it. This deck, again, it's Shadows of Light, and I thought that was really powerful. There's a really cool saying in the Bible. Wow, I'm struggling here with something very simple. There's a very neat saying in the Bible that says, all good things come down from the Father of lights, from which there is no shadow or turning. And I always think about total light, there is no shadow. But I love the idea of shadows of light, the fact that we find form in the light because of shadow. And so, very thought-provoking. I don't want to ruin it because I have a whole before you buy that I'm working on right now that's pitted against this right here. I shouldn't say pitted. Contrasting against the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle, which I also have a walkthrough up in January. It's already recorded, of this oracle here. I have to say the cards on this are amazing. They feel like this, maybe the same, almost the same, a little bit thicker, but almost the same cardstock as this. Maybe they are exactly the same. No, this one's a little bit thicker. Maybe not. Feels like the same cardstock as the Oak, Ash, and Thorn. And I just love this cardstock. This is the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle. And this is just deep work. Really, really deep work. Really, really intense. That's the purpose of this oracle. It is made to take you into yourself. And that's exactly what it has done thus far. Again, I will have a before you buy where I go in depth on the oracle itself, the creation, the book, the artist, a little bit more, you know, the cardstock, all that kind of stuff, coming up in January. This is my quick eco section here for the month, you guys. It's December. It's that time when we are wrapping gifts, and I want to encourage you to simply use the wrapping paper that you have already. That's what I'm going to be doing, is using up all of the crappy wrapping paper that cannot be recycled this year. I won't be buying any wrapping paper, ribbons, nothing. It's only what I have. If you're old, then you have lots of wrapping paper on hand. Something that my mother kind of taught me is, you know, recollecting the bags, all that kind of stuff. The other thing you can do is use your brown grocery bags. Just turn them. You can cut them and turn them the other way out, so it's just the brown side out. I want to encourage you to use craft paper, to use recyclable paper, to use newspaper, to do something that's a little bit more friendly towards the planet. I also want to encourage you to do quality and not quantity, which is what I've chosen to do this year with my children. We have 5 kids, right? So I've chosen to get something that I feel like they'll have for a very long time, and to forego a bunch of the little crap. And that was something that we'd all kind of talked about. So that's, I just want to encourage you as we move into this season where we're really encouraged to be consumers, to move away from that and into, you know, creating something or gifting something with meaning, or not to gift anything at all but your heart and a card or something that doesn't add to the pollution on this planet or drain your pocketbook to a state where it just doesn't need to be. Okay, lastly, this will be my sort of last, well, I don't know, I might still do menopause, personal menopause updates on here. I don't know, because I'm kind of doing the whole menopause series on my other channel, along with all sorts of other witchy stuff. Like I have the Trad Witch tag over there and stuff. Yeah, so I think this will be my last one over here. We'll see. But for me, I went back on sugar in October when I went to Spain, and I came back and I continued in that fashion and in November, and I had massive amounts of hair fall out because of that, and I had way more hot flashes because I was screwed up my endocrine system. I just threw my endocrine system way out of whack. And it's not per se the sugar itself. I just want to say this for those of you out there, like I'm not advocating giving up sugar for everybody. Although once I'm off of it, it's very blissful, let me tell you. But right now I'm 10 days into no sugar. So I quit for December. I'm feeling the twang, I'm feeling the pang, and so I'm gonna go eat bread. It's okay, it's a different type of sugar, it's just not refined sugar. What it is, it's that spike in blood sugar that is going to mess up your endocrine system. It's not eating the right foods and then having a spike and having a come down that's just going to keep you out of whack. So for me, I cut out sugar again, and it's been lovely so far. I feel as though I've reached a new understanding in my menopause journey and what it means for we as women and how powerful it is and how important it is to embrace it. And so my first video on menopause magic is on embodiment and on the gift of coming back to our bodies through menopause. And so I hope that you'll check that out, because I feel like I'm up a lot at 3 a.m. How many of you are up at 3 a.m.? I'm up a lot at 3 a.m. And so what I do is I do a lot of journeying and channeling work. And I feel that I am being gifted with some amazing wisdom during this time about the transition of menopause and the gift of it. And I really hope that I can somehow pull this apart and share it with you, because it's so big. Isn't this big, guys? Like, for those of you in perimenopause, like just the beginnings, those of you who went through it and those of you who are in it, don't you feel like it's really big? This is so big. It's so fundamental, foundational. It's so powerful. And so the messages have been really big, and I'm trying to put them together in little bite-sized pieces to share with you over there about it. I'm really excited about this next year and the journeys that I'm taking and the choices that I'm making. And you can find out more about those on my other channel, which again is Natural Witchcraft, natural space witchcraft with big C. I find it interesting that I've searched for it and it doesn't populate. And I think it's just because I don't have enough videos. I don't know. I don't know. But there is a link down below in the description box for you to go over there and check it out, and subscribe if you want. No pressure. If you made it this far, please leave me a comment down below if you feel like it. If not, just leave me an emoji about, what you're feeling for this next new year. How are you feeling about that time? Or maybe you want to share with me. I love your shares. And I'm just going to say this, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and check it out. I'm not going to tell you to push the bell. I always say that, push the bell so you never miss a video. They'll tell you when I have a video. I do want to say this. If you want to support this channel, there are ways to do that down in there. And I'm going to have more sort of interactive classes this next year, so that if you want to support me that way, then it's not just by sending me a coffee, or I like letters too. Like I said, I love letters. But you can support me through purchasing my courses. Anyway, I've said that. I'm trying to get better about saying that. And until we meet again, may you find yourself in a space here at the end of the year where you reflect and you feel no guilt, no shame. Your reflection is one that brings you into the peace of knowing that you are stepping into a new you every moment, every day, and a new year. When your bed isn't close enough to the fire, but you still need a nice soft pillow, even though you're wearing like 6 inches of fur,